Aircraft accidents are mostly always a result of a broken links somewhere along the safety chain. Some factors that contribute to an uneventful outcome normally include fuel starvation or flight into adverse weather conditions. Other times, there are out of the ordinary, such as the case of a 2010 crash in Congo. The aircraft was a 1991-built Let L-410 turbojet, and it has gone down crashing into a house. The aircraft had no mechanical issues, and the pilot was in great health at the time of the crash. But if this was the case, then why did it crash? If you ever seen the movie Snakes on a Plane, well, this is the real-life sequel. But only snakes were not at fault. The culprit was a crocodile. On the 25th of August, 2010, a Let L-410 turbojet passenger aircraft of Filair was operating a round-robin domestic flight from Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of the Congo, stopping at Kiri, Bokoro, Semendwa, and Bandundu. Filair, the company that owned the aircraft, was an airline based in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It was established in 1987 by Captain Danny Philemot, and operations began in September 1989. It offered regional cargo and passenger flights from Kinshasa's second airport at Ndolo. The airline was on the list of air carriers banned in the European Union. In fact, all airlines regulated by the authorities in the DRC are still prohibited from European operations. The airline suffered 3 accidents during its tenure. The first in 1988, while landing at Chikapa Airport. The second occurred while flying in Angola in July 1994. The third accident was 2010 Filair Let L-410. Eventually, the airline ceased operations in 2015. It was a beautiful summer's day on August 25th, and Filair Let L-410 has crashed. The aircraft crashed into a house 1.2 miles short of the runway, while on its final approach to Bandundu Airport. According to most sources, no one was injured on the ground, and luckily no one was in the house. There was no post-impact fire, a circumstance that led to initial speculation that the aircraft may have suffered fuel exhaustion. After the crash, a radio outlet reported that the aircraft ran out of fuel after being unable to land at Bandundu. However, accident investigators found no evidence of fuel starvation. But if the plane didn't run out of fuel, then what happened? Their best piece of evidence was testimony from a survivor who provided details about a reptilian encounter during the flight. The survivor of the crash stated to the investigators that a crocodile smuggled in a duffel bag by one of the passengers had escaped shortly before landing, sparking panic among the passengers. The duffel bag concealed the croc from other passengers and crew until the aircraft was on approach for landing. At some point, the reptile emerged from the bag and began to scurry around the cabin. Passengers were terrified, and eventually chaos would erupt. Among the chaos, a flight attendant panicked and ran towards the front of the aircraft. Unfortunately, most of the passengers followed her towards the front, causing a substantial weight shift in the aircraft. A considerable weight shift towards the rear of the airplane affects the vehicle's center of gravity. This was the case with this flight when all the occupants ran forward. The airplane's center of gravity responded, and the aircraft became much less stable with a forward center of gravity. Technically speaking, a forward center of gravity location increases the need for more significant back elevator pressure. The elevator may no longer be able to oppose any increase in nose-down pitching. Adequate elevator control is needed to control the aircraft throughout the airspeed range down to the stall. The flight crew was unable to counter this instability and subsequently lost control. The plane was in a nosedive and plummeting towards the ground at tremendous speeds. It would hit the ground at 1300 local time while on its final approach to Bandundu Airport. 19 people were killed instantaneously, with 2 survivors being taken to hospital, one of whom later died from their injuries. Of the 21 people on board, only 1 passenger would survive. Most of the dead were Congolese. A female passenger was the lone survivor. the same passenger that was able to tell the story of Filair Let L-410 and the Crocodile that caused chaos among passengers. This is one of those accidents which can't be attributed to the safety factors we often don't hear about. In this case, an attempt to smuggle an exotic animal caused a tragic end to an otherwise routine flight. If you're wondering if the crocodile survived or not, well, that's another oddity because some reports say the croc survived the crash, but was killed by a blow from a machete. Others report it died on impact. But one thing is certain, the legend of the croc that took down a plane will live forever. Thanks for watching.